scheduled work session for October 5th, 2020 at 6 p.m. Ms. Berner, if you would call roll, please.
Yep. Mayor Lowry.
Here.
Councilman Grimm.
I'm here.
Councilwoman Nowakowski.
Here.
Councilman Cobb.
I'm here.
Okay. Councilwoman Eggleston.
Here.
Councilman Rodwald.
Here.
And Vice Mayor Cook.
Here.
7 members present.
Thank you very much. And tonight's invocation will be done by Vice Mayor Cook.
Our Heavenly Father, please bestow upon us the right way to do things that we are trying to do for the city of New Carlisle. Please bless and hold safe all members of our council, our citizens, and provide us with a safe way out of this coronavirus. Please also bless all of our first responders, our deputies, our fire and EMS, and also our troops overseas. Amen.
Thank you very much, sir. And moving on to the pledge, Mr. Grimm has the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and
Justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Grimm. As always, we're getting better at that too. I mean, we were in way more sync that time.
And we remembered all the words.
Right. All right. Pledge allegiance. Action on the minutes, none. Communications, none. City manager's report, none. Comments from members of the public. Mr. Bridge, do you have anything on your end, sir?
We do. Do you want to wait to the regular session to address it?
I mean, unless it's something that pertains to, that needs addressed now that we couldn't do in the regular session.
Probably be best for the regular session.
Okay. We'll just do that. We'll get that at the regular session starting at 7. So, all right. Thank you. Committee reports, none. Resolutions, none. Ordinances, none. Other business, Mr. Bridge.
Well,
Hand it
thank
to
you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council, members of the public. So for our work session tonight, we'll start off with our general, and that is legislation discussion. Then we'll go into the CIP discussion, and then open discussions related to city business. So some of the legislation pieces that will be voted on tonight, we have resolution 2020-16R, and we also have resolution -17R. Those two are primarily the same thing. We're taking some inactive or bank accounts that we want to combine into one instead of having so many different bank accounts. So those resolutions are on tonight, and they both deal with pool funds and the Park National Bank, and then also the PNC Bank. We also have resolution 2020-18R. That is a resolution to advertise for bids for the city building downtown. And then we'll also be asking council to break rules of council tonight to introduce resolution 2020-19R. And that is our capital improvement plan, which we'll be going over tonight. So once we're done going through that and council has made their edits, we're going to introduce that by breaking rules of council. And then tomorrow I'll send out a clean copy. As far as the ordinances go tonight, we have ordinance 2020-35. And that one deals with sludge removal at our wastewater plant. Ordinance 2020-36 is an ordinance supplement for our budgeting. And I do believe that has to do with the CARES Act. And then 2020-37 is the wastewater rates that we will be voting on tonight. And again, we'll be asking council to break rules of council on Saturday afternoon. I got an email from our liability insurance folks, and that quote has come in, which I shared with council today. So we would like to go ahead and break rules of council and have that ordinance introduced tonight, and we'll be voting on that at the next meeting in 19th. We do need to have that back to them by November 1st. Any questions on any legislation pieces that will be voted on tonight?
Council, any questions or comments on these issues?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Cobb.
Mr. Bridge, I thought we had a sludge truck.
No, we've never removed our own sludge as long as I've been here. Mr. Kicko, do you have any history on us removing our own sludge?
We still have, but it's pretty much in op. It was a liquid sludge tanker when we would liquid spray, but we pressed for cake since 2012, and we have to haul off dry now.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cobb. Anyone else? All right, Mr. Kitco, did you have anything you need to add over on the water or anything?
On the water.
Wastewater.
Oh, wastewater. I don't have anything additional unless there's more out there. More
Okay.
questions or anybody received anything the last week.
Right. Okay. Thank you. All right. Doesn't look like there's any other comments.
Okay, so we'll move on. And the beef of why we're here tonight is to go over the CIP discussion. So council, I sent that out over Friday night. One thing you'll notice with this one compared to last year, it's not so heavily with all the frills and bells and whistles. It's kind of just basic to the point, which is appropriate for our CIP. So we'll begin with, we have an overview page right here, and that's just some summary of all the stuff that we're going to buy from a dollar standpoint wise. So if we go to page 2, it's under the general fund. And it's the first header. We'll start off with city council. I didn't put any improvements in there for you guys in 21, 22, or 23. We do have technology updates in there in 2024. That is to replace any iPads that may go down. The iPads you guys had got were a couple years old, so we can assume in maybe 3 or 4 years we may have to replace those. iPads are not cheap. And that is fluid. It doesn't have to be 2024. We can play that by ear as we see the years go on. But at some point in time, if the iPads do need replaced, we will have to consider that a capital purchase. Any discussion on any city council related items? Anything that you guys would want in 2021 for technology or anything related to any capital for city council? No? Okay. So under the city manager general fence, what we had to do is we had to go back. We put a lot of capital projects on hold for COVID this year. So some of those we had to put back in. We also put on hold the city building downtown. So we had to put back all the furniture stuff that we had to buy in addition to renovating the building. So we do have 10,000 in there for office furniture for the city manager. That's for year 2021. And then 2023, I have 3,500 for a potential technology update for me. Depending on if I would have to have a new laptop, I highly doubt it. It's a pretty solid machine I got, but just to have it in there as a placeholder would be good. Any discussion on the office furniture? Originally it was 10,000 and then we reduced it to 7,000 mid last year. And in anticipating any kind of discussion, I did put that back up to 10. So we are able to discuss that figure if council would like.
That's for the entire, all offices, right?
No, that's just for my office.
Just your, okay.
Yeah, office furniture is not cheap.
There's enough skids down there at the Kwanzaa Hut. We can make you a table.
Yeah, we could. For those of you who've seen my office, you've seen what kind of desk I got now, and that's the motif I plan on continuing. I will need to get some filing cabinets and maybe some sort of a nice desk for my successor when he comes. But right now, 10,000 in there, I don't think is too long of a shot. I don't anticipate spending that 10, but I don't want to have to come back to council to amend should it go over.
Right.
Any discussion on the city manager? And I just wanted to pinpoint, we do our CIP well in advance of our actual budget. And for cities who carry over millions of dollars a year, this process makes sense. But since we don't, what we do with our CIP is, we give it to you guys how it is, but more than likely we're going to have to amend this when we do our appropriations here very soon, depending on how the year is shaping up. So everyone keep that in mind. Once if council doesn't make any changes, we may have to make changes in a couple months or a little bit sooner than that when we start looking at our 2021 appropriations. So our budget for the general fund may not account for me to have 10,000. It may only allow for me to have 5 or 6. So that's something we'll just have to adjust. Right now, what we're doing is I'm meeting our charter requirement to have this submitted to council before the appropriations. Does that make sense? Okay. Any questions on the city manager capital expenses? Any discussion?
Doesn't appear so. Oh, Mr. Rodwell.
Have we got any bids from any of the office furniture stores local
No,
about,
we're not bidding that out. We're going actually just getting it on our own.
okay,
Yeah.
okay,
We wanted to keep some of the things out of the bidding process because they tend to shoot things up 10, 15%.
yep.
So some of the stuff that we can get on our own without
Yeah.
having the pricing, that's why we decided to do it like that.
Okay.
Yeah, because originally they were looking at, I think, like custom made
Yeah.
cabinets and desks, and it was going to shoot the price through the roof.
And some of those, especially on the first floor, like Angela's portion, and then the other side where utility office is going to be, they do have built-ins there, so they won't require us to go out and get furniture for them.
Thank you, Dan.
Yeah, good question. All right, so if it's okay, we'll go ahead and move on to the finance. The first two were kind of small ones. We get to the bigger funds as we go on. So the finance, that's out of our general fund. Some of these things we're going to have to keep in there. We got $30,000 for software support, and that is for our software solutions that we use for our financing software. We also have network server protection, and that's the fee that we pay to actually protect our network, so hopefully it won't get hacked. Again, we have furniture at the new city building for them. That's $30,000. There is quite a few more staff members we need to buy for that particular department. It's going to be Miss Harris, the tax administrator, would need some office furniture, and I do believe there's 2 other offices that do need to be outfitted. So we're looking at about 4 offices with that $30,000. So it's not just one. Computer replacement. We have ladies in there that are operating on computers that are well past their lifespan. These computers can run anywhere from $1,000 to $1,200. We do need about 3 to 5 of those. So we do have $8,000 in there for technology upgrades for those ladies to get new computers at the office. And again, we still want to go ahead and try to get some sort of printer for one of the floors at the building downtown. We don't want to get into another situation that we have to lease the one that we have. If we can go out and buy one outright, it doesn't have to be a big standalone. They make ones you can put on a counter that are very efficient for business purposes, and that's what we're going to shoot for. I think we did over budget just a little bit on that, but I also don't want to come back to council if we find one for 3,100 or whatever. So we did buff it a little bit. I'm not anticipating spending that 3,000, but again, it is definitely going to be a necessity for the building downtown. Any question on the finance?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Software support and network server protection are capital expenses.
Yes, they are, according to our capital asset plan, because they're maintaining a tangible item.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And that goes for the network server protection as well. So when we make these capital plans, we actually use our fixed assets policy. That's been on place with the city for quite some years, and it has pretty explicit definitions on how you treat things.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Any questions on the finance? Nope. Okay, we'll move on with the planning, and that's the general fund. Office furniture, new city building, it's $20,000, and that is for Derek and both of his code enforcement officers. Right now, we decided to leave that side of the open air, so we didn't have to spend a bunch of money to relocate vents for air circulation. So it was actually more cost effective for us to leave that open and just go open air cubicles for that side of the office. So that's what that $20,000 fee is. And that would be office for the planning department. We also have $22,000 in there for a new vehicle for the code enforcement officers. Right now they drive a car that's been with the city for many years. We consistently have to do work on it. And quite frankly, they need like a small pickup, something they can get in and get out of, throw signs in the back. We see a lot of garage sale signs that are on telephone posts. Something they can hop out real easy and throw that in the back. 22, I think, is a fair shot with that. Derek and Howie did work and do some research on that. So again, we are looking to get a small vehicle for the code guys.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I had one. So that vehicle, which I have no doubt is pretty close to the end of its life, Mr. Kitco. Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a no-brainer question. It's been around since the beginning of time, but
It was a police cruiser starting from 2001, so it's been beat up.
What year is that? An 01?
Mm-hmm.
Is it? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. All right. Thank you.
Definitely needs to be replaced. Any questions on the planning side of things? Nope. Oh, okay. So parks is out of our general fund as well. And this is something that is really gets, want to have a council discussion about. We have had for, last year, we had $60,000 in there for shelter house upgrades. I did move that back to 2023. Of course, that's open for discussion with council. I'm not anticipating, I think that we need a year or two to recover from the COVID before we go and put money into that. I think it's definitely something that needs to be done. I just don't know when the appropriate time is. So that's why I just kind of picked the middle, give us a year to rebound, a couple years to rebound off of COVID. That's up for negotiation. If council wants to switch that, you're more than welcome to. I still think it needs to be done. And what that means is improve the parking, acoustics, flooring, tables, chairs, kitchenette addition, technology upgrades, and or general aesthetics of the building. So council, what's your thoughts on when we actually should budget for that? What year?
Council. Any comment?
I mean, I think 2023 is a good year. I mean, that gives us 2 years from now to really see what the COVID's going to do, because the COVID's not done. I mean, we all hope it's done, but it's not. There's still going to be more issues coming in the winter and even into early next year. So I think we need to, 2023 is it sounds like a long ways away, but it truly is not. 2 years. The shelter house hasn't had a lot of use this year, so it should still be in good shape for another couple years.
Thank you, Mr. Rowe. Mr. Vice Mayor.
I think we need to move that parking lot and that parking area upgrade probably either next year, no later than 22. I don't think that parking lot's gonna stay together for 2 more years. Mr. Kitco would probably lend me a little more information on that, but that parking lot's getting to be in pretty bad shape.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can keep the potholes out of it, but it is deteriorating as a whole.
Did we ever if you don't mind me jumping in on your topic, Mr. Vice Mayor, did we ever get the handicap parking up there for that location? Okay. So that would need to be addressed too as well. So yeah, I would agree with you on that, Mr. Cook. I mean, at least maybe put it in 2022, and then obviously if funds don't allow us to do something with it at that time, then we can always push it back again.
Emily, you want to call for you can't vote right now.
Well, again, this is a wish list, and I think
Right.
that these line items probably are going to be voted on again.
I'm going to keep a list when we go to the regular session. We can go back through here. So the one is parks. So basically the discussion is moving the 60 to the 2022 instead of the 2023.
Well, primarily you could move, if you're going to make an addition out there, you can leave that in 23. But I think the parking lot and that handicap parking, those items need to be moved up ASAP. Primarily, if we're going to be utilizing that as the council chambers, depending again whether or not we get into that situation after this virus, we're going to have to, I guess, move earlier on that.
Would we actually have to? I mean, do we need to actually move it? Could we just leave it where it's at, and then in 2020, when we do this again next year, just move it then to 2022? You see what I'm saying?
I mean, you could, yeah.
Well,
I mean, because we do this every year. So, but I mean, either way, Mr. Rodwell.
I mean, could we just move a portion of it to 2022? Get get an estimate on redoing the parking lot and the handicap spot, and just move that portion to 2022. Leave the rest in the shelter upgrades for 2023.
There's a lot of work that goes into the CIPs, especially when
Okay.
So what I mean, if it's okay with council, what we can do is I think we should vote to move it when we get to regular session. That way we have it in a line item and help Colleen and myself budget for it. And just move the whole thing instead of breaking it up. Just because it's there doesn't mean we have to do the whole thing, but at least we have money there to do the parking lot portion. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
That way, when Colleen pulls up the CIP when we do our appropriation, she knows it's there, because a year down the road, myself or Colleen may not remember, oh, we got to earmark this for this year. Does that make sense to everyone? Yep.
Yep.
Move the 60,000 to 2022. Okay, gotcha. Boom. Okay,
It's in there.
it's in there. All right, so going down the list for the parks, bike path equipment and repairs, we got 15,000, 17,500 for a wood chipper, 10,000 for a bucket truck, and that is actually going to be split with another department. And then we also have $10,000 in there for a trailer as well. Mr. Kiko, feel free to jump in with any kind of input you feel is going to be necessary for this. The wood chipper we have put off for many, many years. I think that's going to be a necessity. The bucket truck as well too. Our guys use that to change out street lights, to go and cut down trees, limbs. If we don't have that operational, we have to, outsource that. And then the trailer for hauling city equipment. So any questions on any of those? And we can definitely get Mr. Kiko's opinion on some of this.
I had one on the bucket truck. Because you say you're going to break it up between a couple different departments. I mean, are we looking at new, or are we going to try and find something that's just got a handful of miles on it? What's your plan of attack there, Mr. Kitco?
We will not be able to afford new. I believe new is over 100,000. So we're hoping for a good buy in the just under 50,000 range, split between here and streets. But just like we did with the vac truck, we're going to keep our eyes open, and hopefully we can get someone who pretty much we would like to get us from a utility company rather than a tree service company. You tend to get better service equipment. Not saying we won't find one from a tree service, but the truck we currently have now is an Ohio Edison truck. We bought it used way back when, and it's just finally hit its end of the road. So we're just going to keep our eyes open at the GSA through DP&L, Ohio Edison, and a few of those others to get a good truck. And actually we'll have another 20 foot of work height at least.
What year is ours?
98, I think, 94, 98, something like that.
Okay. Thank you. Council, any other questions for Mr. Kitco? Okay. Thank you, sir. Back to you, Mr. Bridge.
Awesome, thank you. So our next fund up is our land and buildings. That is also out of the general fund. So the first one on there is a city building for downtown. Since we put it off, we do need to put a placeholder in there. I would love for it to be $450,000. I think it's going to be a little bit more than that. I think, from the estimate we got, but we do need to put a placeholder in there. So I did. That's basically what we had in there last year for that. And then we have miscellaneous furniture at $30,000 too. That is for the conference room, waiting room, storage room, potentially the third floor mezzanine if it doesn't get chopped out of the renovation. So that's what that is. Again, we're not anticipating spending this whole $30,000, but we need to have some sort of a buffer in there. But we will need to outfit certain rooms that are general use rooms, like our conference room and the storage room. Any questions on the city building, new one downtown?
Council? Nope, doesn't appear so.
Okay, and then we go on to the garage. So we have in 2021, 2,500 for hand tools, and that is repeated in 2023 and 2025. So we're just getting a rotation on there. A new truck. So it's basically, when you look at the descriptions, it's a 4x4 truck for the public work department. So that's 2023. We're anticipating around $35,000. And then we have upgrades and repair. And the definition reads repair, replace old section of city garage. And then we're anticipating Are we anticipating, Howie, $20,000 a year, or are we saving up for something to do in 2023?
That would be probably putting out for a loan, possibly, or it would be saving up, or at least get the demo done this year for less than 20, hopefully. So there's a couple different options here for that one. I think we might have missed when we were discussing the other day.
Yeah, so if we decided we're gonna hold, like save that, let me know so I can readjust it, or to put it into the special line like Miss Harris, the great idea that we had. We're gonna use that for the 20 for this year for demo, we're good, we can worry about that in 2022. But the city garage definitely needs some attention. And I think we've known that for maybe a couple years now. The roof is not in the best spot. I think Mr. Cobb had a question. Yes, sir. You doing okay, sir?
I'm hanging in there. I
Okay.
thought we was a couple years ago, we discussed just taking the old section down.
Yeah, that's what Howie meant when he said demo that section. And I think there was a plan last year to put a lean-to on it for additional storage. So that's definitely up for this year if we can get it for under the 20. Which are more like.
I didn't remember hearing about anything about a lean-to.
No, it's not on for this one. It was on last year's.
I know the old section is about ready to fall down. It leaks. And you can't really put anything in there. Yeah, I agree it has to come down, but if we put a lean-to it, would it be safe for keep stuff in there?
Yeah, it would be like pole barn style.
You good, Mr. Cobb?
Yeah.
Okay. So any questions on the city garage? I'm seeing
Nope.
none. Okay. So Madison Street School, the asbestos removal, we kept $40,000 on there. Howie, I know you and I talked about that, but is that still responsible for us, or is that part of that's part of the big bids for the demo?
This will be a portion of our share towards the total demo, which incorporates asbestos removal.
So what I'll do is I'll change the descriptor on that to say city's portion of the demolition instead of asbestos removal. And I will get that amended out. C, D, D, G. Okay. So council, does everyone understand that? Since we awarded the block grant funds to get the school torn down, we still have a matching criteria for that, and that's what that's going to be used for instead of the asbestos removal. Okay. Thanks, Howie. Any questions on the city building, city garage, or the Madison Street School?
Actually, let me back up. This is kind of, it's not on this, but when the school comes down, will there be anything out of there that will like salvage, Mr. Kitco, that we sell, or do they get it all to recycle and scrap?
We had discussed with a couple of individuals and a few other projects that are very similar to this. They will have a very short time where they might rip out a few things, put a few blocks to the side, give you a date and time and a few hours, and then that'll be it. The rest will be basically an unsafe construction zone, and then they'll just finish the demo.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Am I free to move on?
Yes, sir.
All right. So we have the 0.5% police levy. So every year we put around 17,500 in there for equipment upgrades. And that would include computers, software, tasers, patrol equipment needed to process crime scenes. I don't think we don't use that every year, but we do like to have a placeholder in there. We have a new patrol vehicle for 2022. We have a 2010 Dodge Charger that's probably going to have to be looked at here soon. I don't know if councils are going to want to buy outright, or they're going to want to lease how we currently do the newest car that we have. So we definitely have a placeholder in there for that. And if we do get a new patrol vehicles, we do have to equip to outfit that patrol vehicle. So that's why we see the additional $17,000 behind it. We have next year to kind of debate how we want to move forward with that. But just keep in mind that we do have one car left in our fleet that's kind of old. So we have future substation upgrades, and I have current city building in the parentheses. So basically when we move out, we're going to take the current substation where it's at and move it into our current city building. So we do need to put some funds back to help that transition, because it will be a capital purchase. So we are expecting around $25,000. They're going to need some new office furniture, security system, and other items needed for the relocation of the current substation. And then we have the cruiser cams. I know that was supposed to be in 2021. I moved that back to 2022. Of course, that is up for discussion with council. I do think that council wants it. I just think that we've got a lot of bigger projects coming on, especially moving them. But again, that would be council's final say with how you guys want to move forward with those cruiser cams.
Council, any discussion? Mr. Cobb?
Can we not just keep the tables and stuff we got down there now for the deputies since they're not in there that much? Rather than go out and buy new?
We're going to need to buy some things for them. And
Oh, yeah, I know you're going
Can I say something?
yeah, I think I know what you're going to say. The substation, the furniture is falling apart.
I have cleaned for the last 20 years, and that furniture is probably from the 70s. It is, yeah, I'm not kidding you.
It's,
Everything is broken in that entire building.
Yeah.
Everything.
They can't even close desk drawers. That's how old
Yeah.
the furniture is.
It's awful.
It is. And yes, if they were actually good pieces of furniture at 100%, we could just transfer it down. But it's
Chief.
almost unsafe. I'm saying that jokingly. It's a desk. It's not unsafe, but it's tough. They need new stuff.
Go ahead, Chief.
With what's in that building, I wouldn't put any of that furniture in a doghouse. I'm waiting for the day for the second floor to go to the first floor.
No, we're talking about the new state or the new city or the old city building down there, not the one that deputies are in now.
Oh, he's saying the furniture that's in our current city building can't
Yeah,
be leave
sure.
there for them.
Oh,
okay.
some of it, yeah, some will leave, but there's some of it in there that Colleen has got some built-ins. All the main first three offices got built in, but they're going to need a conference room table. They're going to need some odds and ends stuff to make it. They need an updated security system. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that they're going to need to kind of move over there. We can definitely slash it back, but I would like some money in there to get them some new things.
Well, I mean, security, I don't care. The printers.
But there's still my office, Howie's office. Howie desk. How old's your desk?
10 years old.
That's still usable.
Well, you guys can slash it if you'd like. Just leave me some room to get them some things.
What do you
Well,
think, Cobb?
Oh, I'm thinking it's the office furniture that is still good down there. Even if it's 10 years old, it's still good for the deputies who no more than what's in there at a time. Yes,
You have-
security and stuff like that, printers, stuff like that. Yeah, we got to get.
Do you have a number in mind, Mr. Cobb?
Well, that's out of my league. I don't know what this stuff costs, what he's talking about.
Mr.
I don't know what security system costs. I don't know what size printer you want to put in there. I know you're going to have phones in there for communication. That's out of my league. I just don't know.
When you take into account potential office furniture, a phone system, security system, it's going to add up pretty quick. That's why we wanted the padding in there for the 25. Doesn't mean we're going to spend it all. But I don't want to have to come back to council and amend the CIP for stuff like this. I mean, again, it's similar to our appropriations. Just because the dollar amount there doesn't mean we're going to spend it. We have the authority to, but doesn't mean we're going to.
Right.
So if you guys are going to slash it, I would say 17,000, 18,000 tops total as far as what's left. They maybe take $5,000 or $6,000 off or $7,000 off.
Mr. Grimm, did you have something on this?
Just what Randy said. This is just a wish list. Doesn't mean we have to spend it.
Right. What would you like to see done, Mr. Cobb?
If we knock 7,000 off, would that make you a little more comfortable, sir?
Well, yeah, with 7,000 off, and then if we need to come back and do it, yeah, I don't have a problem. If we see what we got,
So that'll be going down to,
you're what,
18?
25?
Yeah, from 25 to 18. Okay, got my list here, so we're good.
I mean,
All right.
do me a favor, if you would, take a look at what you have in this old city building now. What you think you go over yonder. Or I mean, stay there for the sheriff's office.
Sure.
Anything they got in that building next to the fire department, you might as well level it when you take the building down.
Yep.
Okay, so I got that noted. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cobb.
Any other discussion on the police levy portion for either 2021 or any of the years listed? Nope. Okay. All right. So street construction. Now I'm sorry. We actually got into our special levy tax fund. So it started with the police levy. So continue in those brackets with the street construction. The other portion of the wood chippers in here, 17,500. 7,500 for a snow plow, $40,000 for the bucket truck, and then $8,000 for a mower. So any questions on anything street construction related, I can try to answer, but if not, we got Howie here that can definitely get the correct answer for us for his department.
Any questions? Mr. Rodwell.
Is this wood chipper new? Is that 35,000 for a new wood chipper? Or I mean,
Yeah, we don't usually get a big one. The one we had now, I think we're going on 25 years. I think is how old it is,
yeah,
but not
yeah.
really sure. We've just been pricing them, trying to price something out.
Now, what are we going to do once the Madison Street School is tore down? How are we going to dispose of?
Yeah, that's a tough one. We've been discussing that. We have minor property near the wastewater treatment plant facility that we got some acreage that's in the back, but it's not really been improved to handle truck traffic at this point. That's about it.
Okay.
That's really the only place we got that could handle spoil piles and things like that.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Rodwell. Anyone else? All right, back to you, Mr. Bridge.
Street construction fund, we actually have starting in 2022, you'll see something that says future capital project savings. So Colleen created a new line item fund, which is a 201-6100.55015. So that way, when we know, say, for example, if we're saving 50,000 for 2021, we can just go ahead and throw it in that line item. And it helps us project. Colleen, do you have anything you want to say on that? Because I know that was your great idea. I think it's going to help a lot of people understand the CIP a little bit better, especially for the ones that we're saving for.
I was, from history, we would tend to kind of lump all of our capital in with our approvals, things that we were wanting to save for, just they go away when your appropriations end at the end of the year and they start back up. So we're just doing a few of these accounts, kind of like the savings account that we'll be able to put the money in. So eventually, as we start needing these capital items, then we'll have the accounts that have been setting up for them. So that's what we're kind of detailing a little bit better.
All right.
Awesome. So we're moving on to the street construction. EMS, it's also a special levy tax fund. And again, you'll see on the top of that, we have a future capital savings. We're not holding off for anything for the EMS, so we don't have to see anything up there. But you'll see that trend continue with departments that we're actually going to save on. So when we get down to the Fund 213, which is an operating fund, COP for Medic 52A is 22,000. We have a load system for Medic 52A, that is 30,000. Lucas chest compression tool, that's 15,000. The fire station needs a new roof. We just had a report on that. So we have $40,000 out of this particular fund. When we get to the fire fund, we'll see that we have another $40,000 socked away from that. So right now it's about an $80,000 project. We may have to come back to you. I know we got some wet, insulation in the walls. So Mr. Kitko's trying to figure out how we're going to move forward with that. So more information to come on that. We also have 15,000 in for maintenance and equipment upgrades, 35,000 for a first response command vehicle, 10,000 for radio upgrades. That's our EDAX and marks. And then 10,000 for the demolition of the current Substation, although that needs to be not there. I actually I gotta move that to the police fund. I don't know why that ended up here.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Chief. Maybe think your department could pay half of it since you'll be taking over the land, perhaps? No? Okay.
Not unless you're going to build it, you're going to help me build an extension onto the station.
Hey, you got the people here that can make that happen. They're all right. So any discussion on the EMS? That is a levy fund. Our citizens just passed a levy, I think, last year, the year before. So it's giving us
19.
operating money. I think
Yes,
now
sir. I got a question, please.
Yep.
Go ahead, Mr. Cobb.
Can we look down the road when we take that house down, the old sheriff's office building down, rebuild a new station for the fire department? Because the one they're in's been there for, correct me, Chief, if I'm wrong, I'm thinking that's close to 30, 35 years old.
From what I can understand, way before my time, but from what I understand, it was the old edition that was put on in the 60s at some time, and then the building front part of the building was originally there. So yeah, it's pretty old building, and we're cramped.
I think we need to look into possibly 2-3 years down the road building a new fire station.
Well, if you don't mind me jumping in on your question, Mr. Cobb, I was going to ask you a similar question, Mr. Bridge. I don't think it would go under EMS or fire, but that's what I was going to ask you. Similar was when the day comes that the police moves into our current city building, would we need to put something in there just for extending their parking lot over onto where the old substation would be? Or can we do that, in a year or two down the road?
2,500 it has to be, but are they going to be able to get that done? I mean, we're looking at 6-7 months by the time that we even move. I don't think they're going to be having enough time this year to pave it in 2021.
Okay. Well, that's all I was wondering.
By the time we move in there, they demo it, it's going to be late in the year. So he's anticipating that in 2022, which we can probably put it on there for 2022. I just don't know how much it's going to cost.
No, you don't need to put it on there. I mean, if it's going to cause more of a, I was just curious. I mean, we can do it next year and add it on then and project out from next year even.
Yeah. How much would that cost, Howie?
Sorry, I was looking at the other part of CIP. Cost for what?
Like expand the fire department parking lot over into where the station is.
Yeah.
To take up the rest of the property, you're probably around 15 grand would be my guess.
Okay.
15, maybe 15, maybe 20.
Okay.
That's shooting from the hip.
Good. And then when it comes to building a new station, I don't think you guys can afford that with the levy and the revenue that's coming in now. You would have to put an additional levy on the ballot to pay for that. So that's something we'll have to talk about down the road. You guys don't have the funds to support a complete reconstruction on that. You might be able to get away with doing an addition, but even that's kind of iffy. If you're going to spend X amount of dollars on an addition, you have a nice new portion, but then your other half is still aging and causing, repairs. Definitely something we can think about down the road, but it's definitely going to take a lot more funding sources than what you already have in place for the fire.
Well, what I was looking at was around 2025. 2025 of looking into possibility of building a new station.
Oh, 2025 down the road. Yeah, absolutely. I think they got another 3 years on the current levy they're in now. So we'll see how that plays out. Good. 4, is that what it is?
3.5, 4. We started receiving in 19.
You're right. Put it on the ballot in 18, 19, receive it. Yep, you're right. Yeah, so that's definitely something down the road we'll definitely have to look into. And it is needed, yes. I agree with you. All right, anything on the EMS funds?
Doesn't look like it.
Nope. All right. So moving on to fire, it's another special levy fund. So we see our future capital fund there up top there. We're saving $100,000 a year. So in 2021, we'll stock $100,000 back on that. So we get down to our fire operating, which is Fund 214. Every year we have about $30,000 in there for structural firefighting gear. Fire chief requested a $50,000 this year for power tools. We also got $6,000 for the radio upgrades, $25,000 for tools and miscellaneous equipment, $20,000 for fire station renovations and demolitions, and then $10,000 for computer equipment. We have $7,500 for a thermal imaging camera and $40,000 for the new roof, which is the other half that's split with the EMS. Chief, anything you want to add?
It's like I said, it's just it's our normal stuff that we're using every year. The bunker gear is something we've been trying to purchase anywhere from 4 to 5 new sets each year to outfit and restock because our gear, every time it reaches 10 years, no matter the condition, it has to be taken out of service. And this also lets us stockpile. Yes, sir.
Hey, Chief, are we looking at buying a new truck for?
Yes, sir, we are. That's the $100,000 that we're putting back each year.
I know we're having some mechanical issues with that Dodge, and it's.
Oh, you talking about the pickup truck?
Yes, yeah.
Yes,
pickup truck.
that was the command vehicle under the EMS side.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Okay. On the EMS side, the first response command vehicle.
Okay. Yep. Okay.
We did have it in this year's budget to do it this year, but with the COVID pushing everything back, pushed into next year.
Okay.
But yeah, we're looking at replacing it with a SUV.
Okay.
Type style vehicle.
Sorry about that.
That when it thought you referring to an engine, we're looking at hopefully to purchase a new fire engine, probably 23 or 24.
Okay.
Anyone else? All right, thank you, Chief. Back to you, Mr. Bridge.
All right. Great questions tonight, everyone. This is fantastic. All right, so water fund. Now we're getting to our enterprise funds. Our enterprise funds are our water, our wastewater, our pool, our cemetery. Basically, if you charge a fee for that service, that is considered an enterprise fund in the state of Ohio. So the ones we have, we'll start with water. And again, we have a main line valve replacement that is a future capital saving. So we see that in the Fund 550, 10,000 for 2021. We're going to stock increments away. So then we get into Fund 501, which is our water operating. Let's go down the line here. The F450 dump truck, that is going to need purchase, but we have that in 2022. And then we have repayment to the general fund. That's $28,875. And I know the newer, Mr. Roadwald, what that is the general fund had loaned the first year of the tower program back a couple of years ago. So this repayment on that.
Yep.
The hydraulic GPS study location, we're going to need to keep that. That is to remove or potentially keep Adams Tower. But we do need to have that in there so we can have the study done. We have 5,000 in for tower controls. Water main replacement, we got some money going to be, I think that's going to be set aside. I'll get with Howie about that in 2022 on for 2025. If it is money we're going to stock, we'll just move it up to the Fund 550. The new well field, that is going to be a necessity as well. Mr. Kiko, feel free to jump in, but I do believe the EPA is mandating us to do that due to their current location of some of our well fields. And then we have new utility box truck. Industrial pipe saw for 4,000. We still have to go through with the tower maintenance program and removal of Adams Tower. That's $115,288. You'll see in 2024 that fee gets reduced about 50%. So that is just the ongoing maintenance required, but it won't be the full program that we're in. And Mr. Kiko, please correct me if I misspoke on that.
No, you're correct with that. That'll just be an annual maintenance, and then they'll continue basically just like they are now owning it, and in certain years performing services on it without having that large fee like we had to do this last time for 5 years.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, sir. 14,000 for 6 514 fire hydrants, 4,000 for trench shoring system, and 6,000 for technology updates. And what that is to update our utilities per meter software to a web-based program. Any questions on water?
Council, any questions? I had a couple. I see the meter reader equipment. Now, do we have, I know we've got, I'm assuming, software in the city building that reads all the meters remotely, correct?
Yes.
Is that something that has to be updated every so often, or, a paid subscription to some sort of software? How does that, is there anything for that needs to be in here?
Long story short, server we had purchased for the fixed base reading system was fine. Neptune upgraded the meters that we currently have, which are almost too high speed for the server. So we've been living with that for some time now, about 5 years. And this would go to web-based. It would get rid of the server, and then we wouldn't have to worry about maintenance on a server, replacing a server. Because I think these servers are around $15,000-$20,000 to have.
Okay. And then on the thank you, on the well fields, we've had a few discussions on that. Is there any? I mean, I'm assuming we're within EPA regs and all that whatnot. But is there any I mean, if not, I would assume it'd be on here. But there's no emergencies for us to get on the ball to have a backup well ready to go, is there?
It's not a dire emergency. It is just something that would make us be more comfortable to have another well opposite of our current well field. So we have 4 wells in 1 well field. It'd be nice to get it away. So if something contaminated this well field, we'd still be able to pump to the city from an alternate.
And where was that alternate?
We have taken,
Possibility.
we have looked up close to the golf course where it'd be on the northern part of our current time, it'd be about 10-year time of travel area, which would be near the golf course. We've looked at some places over north of the Twin Creeks area. It's got to be reasonably close to make it feasible money-wise. Otherwise, we just have to be super stringent on our current well field on notifying truck traffic, spillages, doing the things we're doing right now with no porta-johns on the baseball fields, things like that to help protect what we do have.
Okay, great. Thank you. Mr. Roadwell?
Howie, we're not worried about the pesticides and fertilizer that the golf course uses if we put it that close out there?
It's funny you say that. A lot of water departments work with the golf courses, bigger ones like Dayton and Beaver Creek, where they do have some of them on the field, and they use certain ones at a certain level that are okay on a well field.
Okay.
But there are some very, very safe ones. They're just kind of expensive.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Roadwell. All right, anyone else? And back to you, Mr. Bridge.
Awesome. And moving on with we'll go to the wastewater report. So this is also an enterprise fund. I will say, I'm going to have to add on here, and I'll make a note so I can get council approval. The 6,000 upgrade for the water department to go to the web base, it's actually a $12,000 charge. So we're going to split that between the 2 funds, water and wastewater. But it was not listed on here. So I will add that on here. Okay. So when we look at the beef of the wastewater CIP, primary clarifier 2, 2023, about 180,000 we're projecting for that. Biopower pump in 2022 at 16,000. A biotower distributor, 5,000 each year, 2022, 23, 24. Secondary clarifier in 2022 of 180,000. We have a rotating biological contactor in 2021 for 10,000. A utility crane truck of 40,000, and those are out of Fund 502. Fund 560, we're looking at 2022 on drying bed rehab 5,000 each year from 2022 through 2025. We have a roadway resurface in 2022 at $10,000, and then Fund 562, which is our wastewater capital contingency, we have 10,000 a year for lift station pumps. And again, I will be asking for a motion later on to add 6,000 in there for the software program to split 50-50 with the water department. And Mr. Kicko would be happy to explain what these clarifiers and contactors and biodistributors are.
Any questions, council, for Mr. Grimm?
Okay, maybe I misunderstood the last meeting. I thought someone said that, okay, this lift station, this is for the lines coming from Northampton area, right?
Down there under Fund 562 lift station pumps.
Yes.
Those are our various ones. We have one on the bike path, one by RD Holder. We have one at Honey Creek Village. We have one down by almost the high-tech castings. They're on the hill across from the grain elevator. So they're our lift stations. These ones that are listed to get them all on the same pumps, everything. Right now, they're all various.
Okay.
Mr. Grimm, would you like me to put like something into the description that says like city-owned lift stations?
Yeah, because
Clarify a little more.
kind of threw me because last time they said Northampton was responsible for getting the sewage to us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me just note that real quick.
I didn't know there were others.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Great observation. Thank you. To change definition to city-owned lift station pumps. Okay.
Hey, just a time check. It is 6:57 p.m.
Okay. So we got two left. Pool and cemetery. So is this something, Mr. Mayor, you want to just kind of go ahead and get through and get done, or is this something you wanted to pause and kind of pick it back up in a regular session?
Council, what would you like to do? Do you want to shoot through it real quick or just pick it up so we have time?
Say we just shoot through it.
Council?
Go ahead and finish it up.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So for the pool, it's on Fund 505. So we have pool maintenance each year in 2021 through 2025. Begins at 10,000. It goes 12,000, 12,000. In 2024, it goes up to 12,500. And that number is actually repeated in 2025. And that's just for unforeseen weather damages, including equipment and other miscellaneous repairs. They also have in 2021 an AED defibrillator. We need a pool liner, so we're estimating that to be $85,000, and that's going to line the pool and completely stop all the leaks. We still need to get a security system in there, so I'm budgeting around $5,000 for that, and general building upgrades of $15,000. So looking 2021 investment in the pool of $118,000 potentially. Any questions on the pool?
Mr. Vice Mayor.
Is this pool liner going to eliminate all of that problem on the deep end that we've been talking about that may have to be dug up and redone?
That is what this company is telling me, that this would completely put basically a whole new liner on the pool, guaranteed for 10 years, I think is their warranty.
Okay.
Anyone else? All right, back to you, Mr. Bridge.
Okay, and our last fund is a cemetery. That is our last enterprise fund. So we have roadway repair. We have 5,000 in each year, 2021 through 2025. We have cemetery building repairs of 25,000 in 2021, and the additional, not in addition, but additional repairs in 2023 of 10,000. A barn for storage in 2023 for 30. A mower in 2022 for 14,000. Looks like we have a replacement coming down in 2025. 15,000. We have 80,000 hopefully set aside in 2022 for a dump truck. A backhoe we have scheduled in years 2024 and 25, $20,000 each year. We also have a utility cart in 2024 at 20,000, and attachments, accessories for 8,000 in 2021, and that looks like it's various equipment, including a snowplow. And again, we repeat that in 2024 of a tune of $5,000. So we're looking at a 2021 investment potentially of $38,000 into the cemetery fund.
All right, Council, Mr. Cobb.
I had a question. We're wanting to pave roads out there in the cemetery and down at the wastewater treatment plant. I know it's not a lot of money, but we've got bad streets in the city. We need to worry about the streets in the city more than in the wastewater treatment plant and out the cemetery. People are dead out the cemetery. They ain't gonna be driving out there. But priority should be on our city streets before we worry about. Go ahead.
I think we were pretty aggressive on our city street repair. And I understand what you're saying, and I think it's a good point. But I just would like council to understand that the more that we let these roads go in our departments, it's more wear and tear on the investment we're making into the vehicles. And the vehicles we purchase are very expensive. But I'll let council debate that, how you guys will move forward with that. I think that we do a great job with repair on that. And no, Mr. Kiko.
The cemetery fund and the wastewater fund, as you know, are enterprise, so they only pay for those. They can't pay for any regular road repairs on the streets.
That too. Thanks, Howie.
Yep.
All right, anything else? Mr. Roadwall,
No, go ahead. No, I'm fine.
Mr. Vice Mayor.
Do we have totals on this CIP program?
Yeah, it's on the first page after the cover. We get to the overview. So in 2021, our general fund investment's going to be around $734,000. Our special levy tax funds total, and that's the police, streets, fire, and EMS, is $581,000 for 2021 only. And then the enterprise fund, which is water, wastewater, cemetery, and pool, we're looking at $441,000 for 2021 year only as well. Those numbers will be amended based off of the changes we got to get to in the regular session. And then once that's all done, we'll go ahead and update that and it'll have an impact on all that good stuff.
All right.
All right. Anything else, Mr. Bridge?
No, I'm good. Thank you,
Council?
guys. Great work session on that. I appreciate it. My managers who do not need to take part in the regular session, please have a good evening and thank you for being on standby should we need your much needed and valuable expertise. Thank you guys for always doing a good job and I appreciate you. All know that. Howie and Colleen, sorry you got to stay.
All right, so we'll need a motion to adjourn.
Adjourn.
So move.
Second.
Mr. Cobb was the first, Mr. Grimm was the second.
Okay, Councilwoman Noakowski,
Yes.
Councilman Cobb,
Yeah.
Councilwoman Eggleston,
Yes.
Councilman Roadwall,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cook,
Yes.
Mayor Lowry,
Yes.
Councilman Grimm.
Yes.
Motion to adjourn accepted, 7-0.
All right, we're running behind by just a couple minutes, so if you got to do a quick restroom break, do it and get back and we'll start.
3 minutes.
3 minutes.
All right, I'm going to end it for Casey. We good to